Impact of depression on social skills and social relationships cannot, in my opinion, be underestimated. It can be very significant and very profound. And what I want to talk about a little bit tonight is the ways in which depression can creep into your life and start to sabotage some of your social relationships, and ways in which that you're not really conscious of because you're in the grips of depression. First, if you do like this channel or you like the content on this channel, I hope that you subscribe. And also, please feel free to leave a comment or a like. I'm very interested in what people are experiencing, the issues that they're facing, and am certainly happy to start to think about content that I can put on this channel that people find useful. Now, social skills and depression is a really, like I say, key topic because it really is a symptom of depression: social isolation, social withdrawal, difficulty engaging with other people. That actually is part of the criteria of depression. But it is also one of these things that is a trap for people who are depressed. It can increase their depression. And here's how. When people are depressed, they are low in energy. If you think about Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, low energy, the processing speed tends to drop. It's harder for them to be engaged and be reciprocal in their relationships and share with other people in ways that really connect. We tend to make eye contact a whole lot less and rarely even smile, and we're not even aware of it. Our resting face tends to be negative or flat, and so people tend to see us as less approachable or unapproachable, and they tend to interpret our behavior as more aloof or disinterested, as if we're not really engaged or care to be with them in conversations or relationships. We may not return phone calls. We may not get back to people. We may feel like people don't want to hear from us, or that we're going to be a burden to other people. And these are all distortions in our thinking that depression makes, and it keeps us from reaching out and engaging. It dampens our energy even more, so that the idea of picking up the phone to text somebody seems so out of reach to us. So what begins to happen gradually is that the individual becomes more and more isolated. And this is a trap, because what happens is they start to then interpret the fact that people aren't engaging with them. People aren't contacting them. People aren't wanting to invite them to different things. They interpret that as confirmation of some of their worst fears, some of those depressive thoughts that are at play. And that leads to greater withdrawal, greater negative symptoms, as we call them in the business, where you lose energy, you lose motivation. You just want to stay in bed with the blinds closed, in the dark, under your covers. The trick with depression is always about how much social interaction you can actually tolerate. And I find that people who are depressed actually can tolerate some social interaction, and it actually can make a big difference just trying to remember to smile every once in a while, trying to look people in the eyes, let people know that you appreciate them contacting you, or just a short text to let them know that, hey, you've kind of gotten overwhelmed with different things and you've been slow in responding, but you do really want to talk to them and don't want them to think that you've blown them off. Little steps like that can make a tremendous difference, because people with depression, not only do they feel guilty and enormously ashamed, but they're in kind of a fog that doesn't allow for any positive information or information that disconfirms their negative beliefs about themselves. It doesn't allow those things in. And so when we are able to just take small steps, it pierces that bubble and it allows some of the sunlight to start to creep back in. Once that process has happened, we can build from there. So my question to you is, I do wonder if you've ever noticed the impact of depression on your social skills and your social relationships, and noticed that you tend to start to assume the worst in other people, that they don't like you, that they're going to reject you, they don't want to hear from you. If you've noticed that, I would say to you that that's depression talking. That's not the truth. And small steps to just say hello and connect with people can help dispel those false beliefs. and they can make a huge difference. Now, it's not going to cure the depression. I want to be clear about that, but it can actually start to set you on a path that's a more positive path where you feel like people are actually present in your life and you are not operating on the outside and alienated from society. Um, I would love to hear from you about your personal experiences with depression. And I know there's so many varieties of it. Most of the time, people think about major depression when they think about depression. I want to talk just briefly about that. Where they think about somebody who's, in bed, under the covers, hasn't showered in days, not taking care of themselves. And that certainly is one of the forms of depression with those hallmark symptoms. But I would also say that there are a lot of what I call high functioning individuals out there who struggle with depression. And they feel so exhausted at the end of the day because they have to wear a mask throughout the day as they try to present in a way that it's appropriate. But underneath, it's a grinding, grating process that really is kind of torturous to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Many people who you might see day-to-day smiling and interacting, they are struggling with depression, although it's covered better. I think that this video applies to them as well, because I think one of the things that those individuals struggle with, and I know from my personal experiences, is that at the end of the day, depression really comes back in and it just hammers you with negative thoughts, negative feelings that make it quite painful for you to want to get up and face the next day. I thank you for tuning in and listening, and I hope you are all taking care of yourselves and making sure that you're taking just small steps to say hello to the barista, smile to somebody in the grocery store, say thank you when you might not have the desire to say that, just to get out there and start trying to chip away again. You're worth it. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.